Hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan, your hostess, and today I'm in my kitchen. I am canning. I have already processed my tomatoes, got them peeled and cored and broken down so that I can make some homemade chili-based soup without or with beans, but no meat. I'm not making chili con carne with it. I'm just going to make the soup base, and then we'll work from there. So what am I doing? I'm doing a bulk recipe. I'm going to give you the bulk recipe in the description box below. And I'm doubling the recipe. Yes, I am. I want 2 full pressure canners going today. Pints will be processed at 75 minutes. Quarts will be processed at 90 minutes. And you will adjust your pressure for your altitude. Let's get to canning. The first thing I am going to do is I'm going to measure out and sort and rinse my beans. So these are kidney beans. Yum, yum. So that's what I'm going to be doing first. You're going to see me go through this process sped up so it will be a shorter video. And then I have 2 gallons of tomatoes ready to can. So this is what it looks like before, and then I'll probably be just canning these straight. I don't know yet, but I wanted to get this done today and hopefully get it all done today. I'm trying a new angle on my canner and my stove so that y'all might be able to see what all's going on. You may see some boxes back here because I've been going through a lot of canning jars, y'all. My beans are cooked. I did a quick soak, which is bring them to a boil, let them sit for an hour with the burner off. Then I rinse them. And I put some cold water on them, and I cooked them for 30 minutes on top of the stove. I brought them to a boil again and let them simmer for 30 minutes. They're ready to go into the canner. And this is my big stock pot. So I've got 3 cups of onions because I've doubled the recipe. Let me grab a something to scrape that bowl out with. Hang on a second. I've got so many things sitting in here, y'all. Never as prepared as you think you are. So I want to get all that onion in here. I did forget the recipe for 1 batch calls for 5 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to salt this to taste. So it'd be 1.5 cups of onion for 1 recipe and 3 cups for a double recipe. Now I've got 2 cups of bell peppers. These are bell peppers I had in the freezer that I had previously chopped. So those are in there. I went ahead and only did half of the seasoning. So this is 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And the reason I did this is because I want to do a taste test before I add any more seasoning. And 1 teaspoon of salt. And for each recipe, it's 2 quarts of tomatoes. So 1 gallon of tomatoes going into the stock pot. There we go. I've also been cleaning it as I go because y'all know how important that is. I didn't add the salt yet. We're going to give this a little stir. I may have to pull out my big spoon. And my big heavy duty spoon to get down in here deep. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. Get these tomatoes to start cooking down. If I feel like it needs more liquid, I'll go grab some tomato juice off my pantry shelf. But I'm going to let this cook down for a little bit. I've got one of my pressure canners already over here warming up. I've got some jars ready to go when this is cooked down enough for me to can it. This should yield 14 quarts of chili base. We'll see. But according to the recipe, that's what this should yield. So we're going to go by the recipe. I may get more, I may get less. It's one of those iffy things. No meat added. And we'll just see how it turns out. I'll go ahead and pull me some canning salt. When I do the taste test, I'll figure out how much salt I need to add. And we'll go from there. All right, I decided to go ahead and add a quart of tomato juice out of the pantry because I feel like it needed more liquid, because those beans are still going to soak up liquid. It calls for 5 teaspoons of salt per recipe. So I'm going to go ahead and put the salt in here and taste it afterwards. It does need a little bit more chili powder. I am not going to put another 3 tablespoons in. I think what I'm going to do is just do another tablespoon, and it's totally your preference as to how strong of a chili flavor you want for your recipe. I'm not going to add any more black pepper. I don't think it needs it. And if it needs more salt, I'll add more salt. Everything is hot and ready. My liquids are hot. That's going into my jar. My canner's hot. My jars are hot. I pulled out a dipper and a slotted spoon. I'm going to fill the jars up about 2/3 of the way with the beans and tomatoes, and then we're going to fill it with the liquid. And we'll see how many jars we get out of this. Well, I ended up having to adjust the amount of liquid to fill my jars. But I've got 10 quarts. I don't know if the person that wrote the recipe out forgot to adjust the amount that you get after you remove the ground beef. But we're going with what we got. It does have a good flavor to it. And I'm going to be wiping down the outside of my jars as well as I put them in the canner because I made such a mess loading these. Let me grab my lids. I'm using the one-piece lids again, and we're going to get these into the 2 canners. Don't forget to debubble and check your headspace. Wipe jar rims with vinegar. Apply lids finger tight. Right, I'm going to put my lids on. I've already greased the top of my canners and the gaskets inside my lids. You always check the peephole and apply your lids. These will vent for 10 minutes, and then I will apply my weight for my altitude, which is 10 pounds. Make sure you're applying the weight for your altitude. Once it starts jiggling, then I'll set my timer. Pints, 75 minutes, quarts, 90 minutes. Chili! It's bubbly! Ten quarts, pantry stable meals in jars. Can't wait to try this out in some delicious homemade meal. Hey friends, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for the many comments, the likes, the friendships, and for sharing this content out. Take a moment and watch all of the advertisements because that is how I get monetized and get paid. I appreciate each and every one of you for your time and your patience. And y'all, I have this special content over here I think you might like.